And also would like to say thank you for the mentors, Dr. Sam Patis and Mbak Nancy Margaret. They're also here with us. So I hope you all enjoy the presentation. Before we start, I need to deliver our house rules to make the session comfortable for us all. First one, this event will be recorded as a part of a program documentation. And if you have questions during the presentation, please write it down on the chat box. Or if you need to ask directly, please wait for the Q&A after each presentation. This event will be conducted in English, but we also provide a translator for Bahasa, so you can click the interpretation button below. And the last, to make this event more interesting and engaging, we are also inviting you to be user to give your best feedback for each project through the form we share on the chat box. Okay, so to officially open this session, we'd love to hear the opening statements from Humofat, the country director of British Council Indonesia, and a leader we have Pak Ilham Habibie, chairman of the board and trustees and co-founder of CAS Foundation. So Hugh, anytime you're ready, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thanks very much, Adil. Selamat malam semua, and good afternoon to everyone in the UK or anywhere else around the world. There might be lots of other people joining in. I hope there are. So yeah, my name is Hugh Moffat. I'm the country director for British Council in Indonesia. And Adil, just to check, can you hear me okay? Is my connectivity fine? Everything is fine? Just checking. Always good to know. Been a bit dodgy today on the old connectivity. So just to say thank you. As British Council, we have a very simple job, which is about building connections between the UK and Indonesia. And those we do that through education, art, English, arts and culture. And of course, this is the more interesting bit because we're doing arts and culture today. This is one of our key programs that we've been connecting Indonesia and the UK for some time now, our Crafting Futures program, which very much is a global program to discuss the art of craft or the craft of arts, whichever way you look at it. But sustainable craft is a key theme throughout all of that. And of course, within Indonesia, the circular economy is certainly something of great interest, and great interest has come about as a result, particularly of COP26. There's been a big Indonesia delegation to the UK there, and a lot of conversation is ongoing, and this continues that theme. So the fact we have artisans working together in Indonesia and UK on sustainable design and craft, we're really interested, and I'm delighted to be seeing what's coming out of the conversations here. And one of the points, I suppose, is that these ideas we're hoping is the start of a relationship between the people who've been working together now for the last few months or so, and then hopefully this will continue and grow. And that's the whole point, because from these small acorns, all sorts of things, well, whatever the tree that comes out of an acorn is, but anyway, you get the point. Trees grow from seeds, and these are the ideas that we want to see more of, and building those connections between Indonesia and the UK. One of the things to say, of course, as Indonesia is now G20 president, and of course this is an area that of great interest, the creative economy is something that connects both countries, and certainly is recognized by Indonesia as a priority to help kickstart and restart following the COVID pandemic. So the work you're doing and presenting here is something that really we can get people interested, and particularly the business community, particularly the political side as well, to see the value of arts and culture. And we have seen that DCMS, the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, are very interested in ASEAN. They're very much part of the Global Britain connection, making more connections in arts and culture across the region and with Indonesia. So this is an opportunity for us to really showcase the work you're doing, and again show examples of how our countries are collaborating. So thank you very much for all of that. So I'm going to finish there because I've said too much already, but just to say thank you very much to Cast Foundation, Playo and Applied Arts Scotland. We're really looking forward to the presentations, and as I say, we really want to talk about these beyond this event, and really talk about the work you've been doing, because it's really important, it's fantastic, and it's going to have long-lasting and impactful work over time. So thank you very much for the partnership to everybody, and back to you, Adil. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we also hope that this project can continue after this program. So let's talk about it after this event. And Pak Ilham Habibi will deliver the next statement. Pak Ilham, you ready?
Yes, thank you. I'm ready. Thank you, Pak Adil. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ilham Habibi. I'm the chairman of the board of trustees of CAST Foundation and also the co-founder. I'm very happy and very delighted to be here this evening to participate in this very meaningful event. Well, I first of all thank you to British Council, to Applied Arts Scotland Playo to be our partners in here, and I hope and I'm very optimistic and positive that there will be good outcomes of this, from which we can learn a lot about how we are going to design and basically form our future world. Alternative material is something which is not yet looked at enough, I think. And although it's clear that the problem or the challenge that we face looking at concepts like circular economy or regenerative economy will automatically drive ourselves to look at how we can use or reuse whatever we consume and we use for production. So and that is I think one important aspect of the workshop. Basically look at materials that originate from waste that is otherwise not being used anymore. Another would be, of course, looking at a material that is available in nature that can be slightly modified, but has also meaningful and practical use for our life. And therefore, what we do from CAST Foundation is actually, the name says it, culture, art, science, and technology. We try to basically participate in the creation, or I should call it the creative collision and collaboration, because not all of that is I think it's very interesting to see particularly people here from two countries which are geographically quite apart. I'm in the UK and Indonesia. We have, I don't know how many thousands of miles, maybe 10,000 miles or so. Yet we can collaborate quite intensively and creatively. And I hope and I look forward very much to the outcome of those the projects. I already had a little bit sneak preview on that. There's something about cigarette butts and seashell waste. I mean, it looks very interesting to me. And at the same time, as I said before, also things that we find in nature but not yet optimally used, like fibers that have not been used, or the famous or infamous mycelium, which is a mushroom that can also be used in various contexts. I think all of that looks very interesting to me, and I'm very very curious how that really could evolve to something which will, as I said, form our future world and makes it more sustainable, actually, which is one of the major topics in this year's G20 sustainability, looking at the climate crisis we are facing. Of course, I'm talking how the original design of G20 looked like. Of course, with the current situation is something else on top, which I don't need to mention here, related to Eastern Europe. But anyway, I'm looking forward to participate in this marvelous event today, and I wish everybody a good time looking at the presentations and at the explanations that for sure will be very meaningful, and I'll give it back to Adil. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ilham. We hope you and you can follow the whole presentation and share insightful feedbacks for the project. And now we go to the main course of the program. The first group, we have Febrian Pricahyo and Alistair Byers with their project The Dimple. Okay, group one, are you ready for your presentation?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Mas Adil. Okay, hi everyone. Let me share screen first. Okay, good evening in Indonesia and good afternoon in UK. We are on from first group. My name is Febrian Pricahyo from Indonesia, and then my partners is Alistair Byers from UK. Okay, I want to introduce my partner, Ali. In Scotland, Ali is a designer and maker of sculptural furniture and homeware with a background in design engineering. Currently interning at an architecture studio, he is interested to explore the value this project may have within an architecture context. And this is what I'm doing in Indonesia. I have a design studio called Contour Concrete Lab. My studio, they're focusing in developing concrete materials, and since 2018, we have researching cigarette butts as a one of waste material to develop. And then my studio, Contour Concrete Lab, has been processing local cigarette butt waste in collaboration with Parongpong, a recycle and waste management company. Parongpong uses a hydrothermal process to kill bacteria and sterilize the waste material, leaving no smell. The output of the process turns the cigarette butts into fibrous pulp, which is sun-dried. The fibrous pulp can be mixed into concrete and acts as a substitute to synthetic glass fiber reinforcement. The result is characterful concrete with many air bubbles due to the dry mixture the pulp produce. And then subsequently, we have experimented with numerous fillers and pigment to develop the aesthetic potential of this material. And then Ali, you can do your part.
Yeah. What is the main issue with cigarette butts? So cigarette butts are the most abundant form of plastic waste in the world, with approximately 4.5 trillion individual butts currently polluting our global environment. Indonesia is the second largest contributor to plastic waste, behind China, with the primary contributing factor being cigarette butt waste, totaling 2.4 million kilograms. This staggering number is due to the highly prevalent smoking culture within Indonesia, which 40% of the population take part in, including 1 in 5 youth aged 13 to 15. And specifically, cigarette butts are produced from cellulose acetate, which is a man-made plastic material and contains hundreds of toxic chemicals. So it would be great to find a use for this material other than filling our streets. So with this in mind, we defined our brief. So we want to look at mass producible products, as the more we make, the more our waste stream can remove, the more of the waste stream we can remove from our streets and from landfill. The product should be modular, thus incentivizing the buyer to purchase multiple of the product. And thirdly, the product should be designed with the architecture and interior design sectors in mind, as these are sectors that we both have connections to and will make the task of finding users more straightforward. And our business model is simple. It is to go out of business. As we aim to utilize this waste material with ties to Indonesian culture, we also hope that the use of the cigarette waste within the design and interior space can raise questions from the public. For instance, why did the designers feel the need to utilize this waste material? How do I feel about this waste material covering my walls or my floors both? And we hope that the product can have a small impact in beginning to identify and curb the smoking culture in Indonesia, hence reducing future rates of waste. When there is not enough waste left to continue producing the product, our jobs are done. So if we go on to the next. So looking at architecture and interior products, we began by considering such things as building blocks and tiling systems, items that are often used in large quantities, blocks and tiles for exteriors, interiors, floors, walls, and so on. So considering the scope of this project, though, we quickly turned our interest to internal tiles due to their simplicity compared to more heavy-duty building blocks. Wall tiles specifically were of interest to us, as it gave the freedom to experiment with three-dimensional shape in a way that would be impractical with floor tiles. Once I received some samples from Fabrian, and I could see the character the material had, I realized that it would be best to keep the shape of these tiles subtle as to not clash too much with the bold texture of the material itself. So this line of thinking reminded me of a previous project. And we'll just go down a little bit, Fab. Yeah. So this line of thinking reminded me of a previous project where I produced these small objects with a subtle sculptural dip on top, and the form was minimal and allowed the dancing of light and shadow on the surface. This project was titled Dielt. If we go to the next page, yep. And it drew inspiration from the beautiful troughs found across the Icelandic mountains, which cast these mesmerizing shadows in the low winter light. So, this dimple shape was brought into a new context of a tile. If we go to the next page again, we can see that as the dimpled tile is multiplied, it creates an engaging aesthetic whose form reveals itself as light passes over its body. We see this product being directly comparable to current tiles on the market, which are often used in kitchens and bathrooms. I'll hand you back over to Fab.
Yeah, concept refinement. With the concept considered, we begin to refine the form, modeling it in a couple of scales to see what looked best before making a mold preparation for casting the concrete. And as well as this, the color palette was considered continuing the reference to nature that the dimple form started. We decided to reference a natural, somewhat muted color palette. We see this also being the types of tones that are often desirable within modern interior space. This is the process, what I'm doing in my workshop in Indonesia. The challenge is to make the color similar what Ali give the direction. And also this is the process, what we're doing in here. We still need to find more to get the color what we want. And then this is the product specification. We choose the size is 15 by 2, 15 by 15 by 2 at the thickness. And then in every tiles, the weight is 1 kilo. And then in every tile, it contains 25 cigarette butts. And then this is our future steps. Yeah, we hope we can use many cigarette butts. And then this is another project what we're doing in Indonesia. We want to use also this texture maybe to the dimple design. Yeah, I think the dimple design is interesting for architect, and then also the materials we can use to develop in the dimple design. And then the last, this is video that we make with Ali. Okay, thank you everyone.
Oh, that's super cool. Okay, thank you, Febri and Ali. Uh, I think that's a lot of questions from the audience. Okay, so any questions? Anyone? Or response? Or any response from the mentors? Dr. Sam or Mbak Nancy, you want to say something about the presentation?
Great job, guys. Beautiful, beautiful presentation and beautiful video also. I imagine you guys, because I love the bold statement of the goal of the business is going out of business, meaning that you will, I imagine you guys like, you know, the game of Pac-Man, the pixelated Pac-Man, it's eating up problems. And then your business is eating up all the problems of cigarette butts, and then while collecting profit and making impact of on environment. So later on, when you finish the problem with the cigarette butts, then you go to the next level. Maybe you will tackle another problem, plastic, probably the biggest problem in Indonesia, I think, right now. So yeah, that's wonderful. Good job. Great.
I'll just add, if I can stop crying for a minute, it was so beautiful. I've seen the project develop from the start, and you just brought it together absolutely beautifully then. You know, I understood fully your inspiration and, you know, and so many other things about the project. Seeing that, it was just gorgeous. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay, thank you. So that's a question from the audience. How do you mitigate the carbon footprints of the cigarette butts when you make them into these construction materials? And what are your ethical consideration from your process? Maybe Febri or Ali would answer it.
Yeah, I can answer it, Mas Adil. Thank you for the question. For now, for the carbon footprints, we still counting with our partners because my studio work with Parongpong. Parongpong is helping us to proceed the cigarette butt, and also they have connection to their partner to collect to make sure the carbon footprint in the cigarette butt after use in the walls or in the construction. Yeah, maybe in the next month or another and later, maybe we got more information to clear to mitigate the carbon footprints. Thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you, Febri. Hope that answered the question. And the next question, how the parts collected, how the cigarette parts collected. Maybe
Okay,
Ali wants to answer it.
Maybe me, I can answer because it's doing in Indonesia. Okay, so the bud is collected by Parongpong, our partner, because the history is I'm doing this project from 2019, and then before the pandemic, and then collecting from our client in cafe or restaurant. It's still I'm doing still with my hand with my partner, and then just lift up, just take the fiber, and then after that, after 1 year, we made the Parongpong, and then we got help from them to collect the cigarette butt and process using the hydrothermal process. It's like machine using 200 degree Celsius, and then the result is become the pulp and the liquid, and then we use the pulp. And then so the answer about the how we collected is with the Parongpong, because in my studio we only work after Parongpong give us the cigarette butt to my studio. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. Hope that's also answer the question. So we're now going to the second project. We have Muhammad Taufaniari and Jennifer Stewart. They will present their project called Weave Wave. Okay. Taufan and Jennifer, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna share the screen. Ooh, hang on. Okay, am I in full screen? Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Great, so we'd like to present the concept we've been exploring through the Altermatter project, which we are calling Weave Wave. So myself and Tufan have been working on this collaboration, experimenting to bring our two practices together. And Tufan will tell you a little bit about his practice.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Hi, I'm Taufan from ROA. We are a weaving house exploring various materials to be handwoven for mostly interior materials, such as wall covering and sandwich glass panel. And how about you, Jen?
So I run Namara Design in Glasgow. I mainly work with sheet material and batch production processes to create graphically bold designs across jewelry, fashion, accessories, and homeware. So our direction and our approach was informed by sort of combining our two practices together. And what we'd like to present is our prototype for Weave Wave. So this is a line of semi-transparent woven textiles created for screening light in interior use. So that could be for zoning off areas whilst also diffusing light. So this material concept is very tactile and lightweight. And it utilizes the traditional hand weaving processes that ROA specialize in, as well as using natural fibers of the Mucuna plant, tencel and eco-resin. So Weave Wave innovatively integrates flexible shape panels into the traditional hand weaving process on the loom. And this allows us to create new patterns as the weft material is forced into waves by our solid but flexible panels. So we're really excited about how this can allow us to explore new design directions within the traditional hand weaving process, and also to showcase the sustainable materials that we've been exploring through this project. So our direction was initially informed by identifying some of the mutual interests that we had and identifying some of the opportunities there were to explore between us. So we thought there's definitely space for innovation in the hand weaving loom-based processes to create more design variation. So a lot of the traditional techniques are very boxy and reliant on creating pattern through small iterations of sort of positive and negative. And we came up with a sort of design challenge for ourselves to create wavy lines within this, inspired by the sea. So we also were looking at the problem of interior furnishing waste, and really thinking about how consumers all over the world are driving a change in looking for sustainable options for their purchases. So we wanted to be able to offer a product to the market that would have a lower impact, that would be utilising natural fibres and biodegrade. One of the statistics that we were looking at was 80 to 90% of EU furniture waste is incinerated or sent to landfill, with only 10% of it recycled. So we were really interested in materials that would biodegrade and came across the Mucuna plant.
So Mucuna is a vine which we extract a nice shiny fiber from its stem. Mucuna in Sumatra is widely used as a ground cover plant for the problematic palm oil plantation. As a ground cover, Mokuna plant will be thrown after the palm oil plant is mature. We extract the fiber to extend its lifespan and add value for the local economy for workers who harvest it. And since this is a plant, it is biodegradable. On the next slide, we will show you the existing product comparison. Current products in the market offers various types of materials such as glass panel for partition, room divider from natural fiber, and in the next slide is upholstery fabric made out of recycled materials, such as this one in the top left is made from recycled plastic bottle, as well as natural fiber like the sheer in the middle, made out of linen. One of the opportunities is we see more used products go to landfill, like what Jen mentioned earlier with the statistic numbers. So we think biodegradable material will be a good idea. So when we talk about the material properties on the next slide, our approach on the material is we are using Mokuna fiber as the aesthetic fiber, while for the wall, we use tencel. Because Mokuna and tencel are biodegradable, while for the petrochemical plastic-free resin, in this prototype, we use gelatin. Aesthetic-wise, Mokuna has a naturally shiny texture that most commonly used fibers like raffia do not. We have combined the naturally golden shiny nature of the fiber with gelatin to create a flexible material to prototype with. And Jen will tell you further about the development.
Okay, so we took quite an iterative process to this project and realized that we needed to source or create a flexible material that was thin enough to pass through the hand weaving loom process in order to create the waves that we wanted. And Tofan came up with the idea of combining offcuts of Mokuna fiber with gelatin sheet. And we had the help of Tofan's workshop and went through various iterations of different fiber lengths, different gelatin compositions, using dye as well, and eventually came to a successful material using small flecks of the sort of golden Mokuna offcuts with gelatin that creates a sort of golden terrazzo-like style material. So this had the flexible properties that we needed in order for it to pass through the hand weaving process, and also had the added benefit of diffusing light, which is what helped to us to create our direction. So through various tests on the loom, we then started the weaving process with Mokuna, where we encountered a few crunchy stumbling blocks, however managed to finesse the weaving process, and also using tencel in places to create more contrast. So we managed to achieve these wavy lines, and then through using templates that we created, gained more control over the design outcome and the design lines of this technique. Which led us to our proof of concept last week, which Tofan can tell you about.
Firstly, when I saw Jen's drawing, the wavy pattern, I thought, how on earth are we going to weave this? But then along the way, as we discussed further, my team member created a wavy template where we can shape the yarn to follow the wavy pattern, where it echoes the gelatin shape. And on the mock-up on the next slide, we will show you the mock-up. After we've done the prototype, here shown with Mokuna and turmeric dyed gelatin, we pictured our weave wave to be used as a screen or zone divider. As you may see in this picture, it separates the sitting area while having a dynamic pattern as a background, and it allows light coming through and not being solid. So it can separate areas while blend with its surrounding because it is semi-translucent. And Jen will tell you the other mock-up.
Yeah, so we also think it has scope to be used as flexible hanging panels, bringing tactility to areas that might have otherwise been dominated by glass or more solid panels. So we think this material offers an interesting midpoint that could be utilised successfully in this environment. And we've also imagined this within domestic environment to be used as screen doors or as standalone screens to sort of break up spaces, give privacy, but also allow light to come through. And we think there's a lot more scope in the design process as well. Now that we've nailed the proof of concept, we're really excited to look at different ways to apply these waveforms graphically. So if we change the composition of the thickness of the gelatin panels and the weft thread, and we can create gradiated waveforms as we're picturing here, which we're very excited about. So the future development of this project, we think there's a lot of scope for future development. So looking at developing the gelatin and mucuna sheet material at scale. And Tufan actually just this morning was saying we could look at an algae and algar formula, potentially as a replacement for gelatin. Looking at how to sort of define this part of it for commercial use, and looking at the response of these materials to dyeing processes, as well as finessing edge finishing and any lamination we might need to do.
Yes, and this idea presents opportunities to substitute other sheet materials into weave wave structure, such as substituting the stencil with wool for acoustic properties shown in this picture of our trial in the middle bottom. And it may be used for, let's say, phone booth material that requires sound absorbing material, or substituting the gelatin with paper or eco leather. Further tests with a variety of waves and shape repeats like shown on the right side, and potential to create integrated designs woven on the loom that fold into objects such as lampshade or other sculpture object. We have been really excited of what we have explored, and we would love to hear your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Taufan and Jennifer.
Thank you.
That was wonderful project. And questions, everyone? Okay, you can write it down on the chat box, or you can ask directly if you have a question. If the question, I think we can go to Sam, Dr. Sam, to respond the presentation, the project, and then we'll go to Nancy. Go on, Sam.
Well, I'm holding myself together and not crying this time. That was absolutely beautiful, and so many additions since last week. The visualizations were absolutely amazing. I loved that extra bit of research you did that was quite specific to your project, and it was just so beautiful, amazing, very, very well done. I loved it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Okay, it's a question from Mang Nguyen from Vietnam. How do you prevent the gelatin from getting moldy?
So I think that's something we might not have quite got to yet. Tufan, do you know anything more about that than I do?
Thank you, Jen. So yeah, in this stage, we are doing a prototyping. So thank you very much for that from Dr. Sam and Nancy that always support us with ideas. And we got the ideas from them of using gelatin. And like I just what Jen mentioned just now, that this morning we found the algae plus agar to create a substrate that similar to the gelatin we are making. And I actually talked to the designer of the algae and agar substrate, and she's really confident that it won't be moldy, because it is something that has been cooked and has been finished properly. So yeah, we are really looking forward to use different kind of substrate, not only a gelatin. And this gelatin is for the prototyping. And we think that by prototyping with gelatin is really helpful to get the final design that you just saw with Jen's visualization of the usage in the room.
Okay, thank you, Jen and Taufan for answering. But Nancy, you want to add something?
Was just a short thing. Amazing, guys. Just take my money. I'm sending you my address later on. Send me one of this prototyping and I will gladly put it in my living room. Amazing.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you all. So now we're going to the next group. We have Diaz Adisastomo and Adam Davis is just joining the room from group 3. They will present about the project called Soft Ages, right? Soft Ages, yeah. Okay, Diaz and Adam, you ready?
Okay, I'm just going to share screen. Okay, my voice is clear enough, right?
Yeah, clear.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diaz Adisastomo. I'm a product and furniture designer based in Jakarta, Indonesia. And in this project, I'm partnering with Adam Davis, who lives in Pembrokeshire, Wales. And together within this project is basically we try to overcome within this short period of time and a distance between us. And yeah, I think I'm gradually explain what we've been doing so far. So at the beginning, we have conversations that we share about our previous works and the surroundings and what the potentials that we or the ideas that might come up that become our material. And when it comes to our practice, I'm working mostly with more traditional materials like wood and metals because I came from furniture interior design industry, whereas Adam has been exploring a fascinating and very potential material, which is mycelium. But after a lot of back and forth discussion, we realized our conversation gravitates towards properties of mycelium, which personally I'm curious about it. And by the way, this where the studio of Adams, this is the new one. So after conversations, we talk about but the possibilities of any other material. But the way we understand alternative material is to bring out the element that connects people both physically and mentally. And we were attracted by the idea of bringing together something that closely relates to our daily activity, daily life, while highlighting a distinctive feature of them. So in other words, we want to push the boundaries in terms of the conception of how it's being used, especially mycelium in this case. And if you look at the existing products that made of mycelium, there is tendencies from the makers to preserve the form that basically come from the previous material that probably regarded as less sustainable. But I think there is a lot of opportunity to redefine the language and how we use this material. And this is actually I'm completely foreign to this material, but as a designer, I think a material can be broader, and I think there's a great opportunity for me to explore new material and to build new things that possibly work. And I think Adam can explain more about how you discover this material and how you encounter with this material.
Yeah. Okay. So I started experimenting with mycelium say about 5-6 years ago. The first couple of years was a lot of failures and trying to work out the best way to produce it, because you're trying to work with a growing organism. It's really difficult to maintain them conditions where it allows to grow and thrive by itself. Any contaminations into it, it won't survive, basically. So over the past 6 years, I developed a process within our studio to refine the production process to upscale it. And the good thing about what we're doing is that we're looking at different waste streams. So there's hemp, there's local wood waste. We started to look at coffee waste, the husks of coffee waste now as well. And by changing different wastes and also different myceliums, you can change the characteristic and properties of them. And I think this is what we tried to explore in this project, to see what we can do and push the boundaries of what the mycelium could do and what we hadn't done before. So yeah, would you like to continue, Diaz?
So in this case, we found wood is quite interesting, established by material, and also the perfect match to convey the different possibilities of mycelium. And apart from it, its versatility, which also gives a sense of respect for what's already there. And we found out that there's an awesome hidden function of mycelium after weeks and weeks of, I guess, research. And I think it's a shared experience that we have been encountered with this kind of situation. It is not unusual to see some of our domestic items, like including tables, worktops, or cabinets that have sharp corners, are being covered by some plastic bumpers, which I think it's quite ugly. And it is a way for adults and children to reduce the risk of injury that come from unexpected movement. And over time, we try to refine our ideas and try to translate it into intangible ways from sketch. And also we try to come up to refine each other's ideas. And I think there are times that we finally able to connect the dots from what we observe and what the properties of the material and how the possibilities can grow into more tangible objects. And here we go. The result is a range of furniture with sharp corners that are covered with bumpers made of mycelium that we call soft edges. Simple yet straightforward contrast that can have much more an effect than just being a domestic item. It can be dynamic in the environment as well. And the mycelium bumper comes in much more organic and irregular and contrasts in some ways that become part of the table that somehow starts with a small group of the organism and becomes something much bigger, making it into a functional element. And here's some of the variants. So basically, we took a basic and typologic form of table, and we try to combine it with mycelium in mutual way. So basically, the sharp edges was covered with this organic shape mycelium that can be attached in some way. We will give the details, and also it's quite inviting and a playful object to be part of the table. And there's some of the illustration, and I think the presence of the mycelium itself can give a nice touch to the existing furniture, or in this case, we try to present it as a built-in furniture that already combined with the mycelium. And also, if in other scenario that if we don't need the mycelium anymore to protect the sharp edges of the table, we can take it out and just instantly can recycle the mycelium itself. And I think it's one of the advantage of this cute products. And along the way, we figured out the constraints that would come from trying to combine these two different materials. Technically, mycelium can be directly molded onto the surface of the table, which puts more dramatic effects on the table. But practically, mycelium needs to be baked to certain degrees in order to prevent additional growth. And moreover, it takes unfinished wood for the mycelium to grow while affecting the functionality of the table. And then we extend our discussion about how this product can be implemented in the real situation. So we decided that the mycelium would be produced separately from the table. So the mycelium has its separate molding. So we discussed about how previously Adam get the molds right, how he systematically put the mycelium onto the mold. And I think I also learned that as the explanation before, that mycelium is grow and build at the same time in the mold. And I think it's quite interesting, and I think it's very unlimited possibilities that you can do with this mycelium. So lastly, the functional purpose of verse is obviously to be used as a support for our daily life. So it is mandatory to have a certain ergonomic dimension for people to be able to use. But then there's the more conceptual side, which is the object shows how we can find the opportunity of using biomaterial, not only as a replacement for what came before, but to create a different language and perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Diaz and Adam. The project is so cute, so adorable. Yeah, okay. Any questions, folks? Can write it down. Okay, maybe we can go to the mentors first. Nancy.
Guys, I love how the product mimicking the outside. It reminds me of when I take my morning hiking in Taman Hutan Raya Juanda, seeing this fungi and mushroom on the surface of a tree. I really like it, and I think it looks fun, and it's functional also, and beautiful aesthetically. Great logic from the problem, and then come up with a solution that is not not creating a shape that is already existing before. You're just following the shape of the fungi, the fungus, the mushroom. So I think nature has a lot of inspiration that you can take off. Then yeah, you did amazing project, you did an amazing product from this idea, and great job. Looking forward to follow up this into a finished product.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. San, you want to add something?
Yeah, I've loved it from the start. I've just absolutely loved this idea from the start. For me, I don't actually need things with that stop me walking to sharp edges anymore. My boy's grown up, but I would get this because, like you've said, it sort of changes the aesthetic of a table, just changes the way you think about how everyday things look. And for me, that was the really exciting part of this. I love mycelium and I love, these kind of materials, but just the way that this table, these wooden objects looked, I absolutely loved that kind of disruption of a kind of a normal aesthetic. That for me is the most fantastic part of this project. So thanks, amazing.
Okay, thank you, Dr. San and Nancy. Okay, we are now going to the next one. We have single fighter here, Vera Febrianti Musriana, because unfortunately her teammate has to left the program, but her project called Sizzle, so amazing. So let us hear the presentation. Vera?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I tried to share the screen. Share screen. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Do my screen already visible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Sorry.
Hello,
Hello, Vera. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can close the settings, the Zoom settings first, the security and privacy menu.
Okay. Wait up. This one. Share screen. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Vera. Behalf of my team, I was actually initially with Olivia from UK. But yeah, for some issues, now at last I should be alone. So my project is called Seasel. It's rhyme with seashell, something like that. So yeah, first of all, I would like to introduce. I'm from Lagi-Lagi, and my partner is Olivia Aspinal, and Lagi-Lagi. So Lagi-Lagi is based in Bali, and this is what we try to do in Lagi-Lagi. So our main concern is education for children, specifically through art and design. So from so through this social initiative that we do, we try to look at our environment and using this wood waste from the production waste to make charcoals and some other products like play kits for the children's and some souvenirs. So basically all the products and so basically what we do in Lagi-Lagi is making products and making programs. So all the products is aligned with the programs to share with the children's with education through art and design. And Olivia is based in England. Her main commodity is terrazzo surfaces. So yeah, I don't think I can talk much about the studio. So at first we talk about the challenge we have, what finding our common ground that we can do together through this project. So from our side, we have this kind of challenge that is waste stream from furniture making production that we have around us. Like there's this wood waste and coconut waste, coconut fiber waste, and seashell dust. This is abundance. This is abundant waste that we have that's not yet in the system, so it calls waste. So at first, we talk about what because Olivia producing mainly terrazzo, and she has challenged that how from the materials how to find a fully eco-friendly material for terrazzo, and we have this kind of waste, and so we find that what if our waste is a potential for more eco-friendly terrazzo. So yeah, waste equal potential. So seashell contain 90% calcium carbonate, which can be decomposed or it calls calcination process through heat minimum 850 degrees Celsius and turn into quicklime or cement-like material. So and we have this waste around us, like seashell offcut, like 1,500 kilograms per year, and we have the seashell dust around 900 kilograms per year. So the materials, doing the material development, to be honest, I did this as a non-material developer, so I tried to do the research from other things, like research looking back to the past, if actually somebody already do the seashell stuff. So I find that back to the 10,000 years ago, or around 10,000 years ago, Roman building is actually made of seashells. And actually in Indonesia too, people transform the seashell into kapur siri, or like a chalk. In Indonesia, they use it for food and some other things for daily life. And this is what people also do with the seashells. What I tried to show here is the potential of the seashells into alternative materials. So from that research on, I tried to make an experimentation plans. Okay, so seashell can transform through the heat, and then put water in it, and it become the bricks. And for the seashell dust, we put natural binder. I tried to find what natural binder that we have abundance around in Indonesia. There's a pine sap, shellac, and or gelatin and glycerin, and there's also chitosan. Sam has suggested it's from what is it? Shrimp skin. And I tried to do like a home cooked material. So I tried to make it simple, how to make this material can doable in the home base. So I tried to cook it on the stove because the blue flame is actually 10,000 degrees, right? So I thought, oh, it might be possible, but it turns out it's a failure. It's not chance it the quicklime. It's just charcoal. And then I tried to do the seashell dust, the glycerin one. Yeah. And sorry. And after 7 days, it actually turned into rigid materials. And the binder I use is glycerin and gelatin. Sorry. And I also use a natural color for this experiment. I use food coloring because that's what I have easy to find. And this is the texture of the materials. It's really smooth, and the pores is really rigid and solid. So I think, it's terrazzo-like material. So so from me as a it's very new to develop alternative material. I found it quite satisfied to reach that kind of materials. So from the experiments, I made conclusion that terrazzo-like materials is quite versatile. You can fill it with anything from stone, shell, glass, and more to create pattern and color. So how could children learning about material in nature through terrazzo? Because I find this the correlation because it's really versatile. So maybe through that, kids could learn about various kind of materials. And then the product, my intention is to make a fun, creative learning for children and raising awareness about the beauty of material in nature. And what we do in Lagi-Lagi is give education, inclusivity, and accessible through any children's. And this is what the products I try to I try to offer is make your own puzzle block. So okay, I will just give the ingredients to the children, and they can use it as they can do it as much as they want. So there's this seashell powder, and this is bioresin. Maybe it will be gelatin and glycerin, and this is natural ink. Wait. And this is natural ink from natural ingredients. And I try to invite children to look around, fill it with something interesting, like maybe you can find stones or leaves, or maybe in the kitchen you will find your father's coffee seeds or cinnamon or something like that. You can fill it with anything, and then you can feel it and feel the difference. What's the feeling inside? It will give a different texture. So from this play kit 2, you can capture pattern in natures and playing with colors with it. So yeah, this is kids trying to do. And yeah, so the form of products, I try to make it like a puzzle and also like building blocks because it's familiar and it's universal for kids. So I think it's more approachable for every kids, and they can focus on the playing the texture and materials, whatever they found in nature or what around them. They play with colors and textures, and maybe making collage, and or maybe making something like this. Yeah, and it could be puzzles, it could be building blocks too. So yeah, something like that. Or because kids when kids grow old or maybe easily get bored with the toys, we can repurpose the products. So because it's terrazzo like material, so we can mold it into something usable, like maybe like surfaces or something like this, or maybe making stools out of this. So I try to make the product last long, even though the product is it's biodegradable anyhow. So the ideation process, I actually start with a more complex form. I try to I want to educate children. I want to make kids learn about pattern in nature. So maybe I will mimicking pattern in nature, like maybe like hexagon, something like this, and then or maybe it's like a flow of energy, but I simplify it, something like this. But it's actually quite complicated, and it's the kids no longer focus on the materials and the colors of the terrazzo itself. So okay, back to the basic forms. Yeah, something. So through this project and through this product for further on, I hope that children or us as start to looking what around us, the beauty in nature. So we have this aware and fell in love with the natures, and try hopefully from that we have more empathy to the nature, and what we think is the waste maybe a resource full of potentials. I guess that's all of my presentations. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Farah. I think that's so wonderful, so colorful also. It's really good for children. Okay, any questions? Everyone? If no question, then I will go to our mentor, Sam.
Amazing, gorgeous. You just sort of accidentally found a fantastic material there along the way. And I love the way that flowed. I think we identified we had a chat this week that Vera has too many ideas and is too innovative and is just too wonderful, really. So really good work on focusing that down onto the things that we saw there, rather than the other million fabulous ideas that she also had. So really well done. I love it. I love it.
Okay, Mbak Nancy.
Vera, congratulations for finishing this project. Your product is amazing, and I really appreciate where you, despite you said that you are not a product developer or material developer, you are becoming an amazing material developer. And I really appreciate all the experimentation that you did, the research and everything. It flows like beautifully from your idea to the material exploration, and until you're, like Sam mentioned, you're able to focus on what something that is really solid, and I think it has a tremendous commercial potential. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Nancy and Sam. Okay, now we're going to the last group. We have the project called Bonding Bamboo. We have Mega Puspita and Hannah Jones. You ready, girls?
Yeah, I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Also, Vera, I don't have kids, but I would like to have that for myself, if that's okay. Thanks. But yeah, I think there's others.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah, so myself and Mega, we are Bonding Bamboo. I'm speaking to you from North Wales today, Northeast Wales, and Mega is in Bandung in West Java. So yeah, I just want to say thank you as well to everybody in the project, because it's been really fun. We've really enjoyed it. We're named Bonding Bamboo because you'll see in a minute we are physically bonding bamboo, but metaphorically we like the name bonding because obviously we're bonding across different countries. We are two kind of different designers, but there are those crossed threads across our practices. So yeah, Mega is a product designer, but also a social entrepreneur who's the face of Studio Dapur. And Mega's also done a lot of the digital renders and the visual communication of this project as well. And I myself, I'm a PhD candidate at the Manchester School of Art, and I specialise in bio-based materials and natural dyes.
So the background story of our project is from bamboo. So bamboo is one of the most sustainable materials in Indonesia. It is circular, local, and renewable, and also it's extremely versatile material. In Studio Dapur, also the bamboo craft industry provides a vital source of the income for the artisan in the local community. So there are 3 different byproducts that we have in Studio Dapur workshop. The first one is the notes and also the shaving. This kind of material, some of it is used by local community as a kindling for starting the fires for their kitchen. And the last one is the dust. This is not used at all because the material is very micro particle, so yeah, the local community not use the material. And the problem that we have is not only the dust as a waste natural resource, but also the dust is a hazard for the workers as it contaminates their breathing condition. So the waste that we use in this project is 2 kind of bamboo byproducts. The first one is the shaving. We use the shaving because we have a lot of it. In a day, we produce like 4 bags in a day. And the bamboo dust is like 1 bag in a day. It's more limited material, and it also depending of the production quantity. And the solution that we have is to creating a high value and beautiful product that will elevate the value of the waste, bamboo dust, and the shaving. This will turn into create a cleaner working environment for the artisan, as it will be also the incentive for them to collect the waste and make a cleaner working environment.
So yeah, we started out by looking at what we could create using just the dust. So I collected some British wood dust from a British designer here in the UK. It's much darker in colour, which affected the end material. But yeah, I tried to mix it with a combination of different natural ingredients and with a very high ratio quantity of the bamboo dust. Mostly starch-based materials, really. The starch mixing with a bit of glycerin in the samples on the left for a bit of flexibility, and then starch on the right again with a bit of sodium bicarbonate, and that created a solid material. So there's quite a range, a potential range of, yeah, a wide range of outcomes that you could get from this one material. I used different processes as well, so extrusion processes, so a bit like mimicking 3D printing, but with using a syringe, and also some different molds that I had from my previous work, just to see what could actually be achieved with this material. Interestingly as well, the indigo dye that I used, that I added in, sort of, it didn't really have a blue tint to it, but the outcome was more of a black. And that's because of that original colour of this darker wood dust from the British designer, in comparison to this lovely bamboo dust, which came in the post a couple of weeks ago from Mega's Studio Dapur Industry. So you can see the undyed sample of bamboo dust on the far right and how much lighter that is. And that allowed the dyes to really show through, those colours to show through. We also realised that, so obviously these are all natural dyes here, but we also realised that we had the capability of getting quite a wide range, because if you also cook the bamboo dust for sets of 10 minutes, then you can actually create a depth of color as well. So if we combine that with all the different dyes, then we can get quite a wide color range. The color also changes a little bit when it's baked with that bioconcrete starch material. So yeah, there's a lot of range. Just to say as well that we'll talk a little bit about the product but in a minute, but if we did want a more resistant kind of air drying clay, then we can use gypsum as well instead of this bioconcrete. So yeah, we're looking at a couple of possibilities. They're both porous. The bioconcrete would be more porous, but the gypsum would have a reduced porous surface. And we can also add a beeswax seal along the outside if we wanted a bit more water resistance.
Okay, and the idea of the exploration and also the color that Hannah doing with different color of natural dye material, we are using the marbling technique to use all the color shade of natural dye and make it into a different kind of surface and also 3D. The idea of the first idea is the collection of showing the marbling technique of the material, and there are also the surface. We use it into for a tray, and also the 3D we can use it for a face and maybe a bowl. And the other idea we have is to make like a woven-like material. So Hannah doing the exploration for the experiment process to make the solid material into a woven-like material. So we use this kind of technique to make the solid concrete material into this kind of product. We can use it as a hot mat or a placemat, and also this one is a basket with the kind of same curve of woven, which is it's difficult if we make it from the woven bamboo strands.
Yeah, and then just to finish, we've got some marketing visualizations of how we imagine these in a home. So like Mega said before, having it as a protective matte surface for hot objects and things like that in the kitchen, and then some nice decorative vases as well, and vessels. So yeah. And then just to finish as well, we have also explored the idea of using the bamboo strands, because obviously there's a lot more of that, as packaging for these products with the bamboo dust. So there's quite a lot of potential with just the strands as well. So we've had to really focus because we were getting way too many ideas. But the strands can be molded with a very tiny amount of that bioconcrete to create like this on the bottom left, that molded form, so you can mold your insulation or your packaging so that it's tight around your product, like in the visualization on the right. But you could also twist these bamboo strands into a cordage. So there's about 5 meters of cordage in that top left photo. And this could then be either woven into material wrap for your products, or it could create some kind of handle or a kind of what Mega's done in the visualization here, sort of a securing material. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's it. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's really good. You even think about the packaging. That's really great. Okay, so any questions from other participants also? Okay. Okay, if no question, I will go to Nancy to give some feedback.
Amazing product. I think you just created 2 different products out of one very common in Indonesia, bamboo, and it's been used by plenty of designer and makers. I think what I can see is the marbling, and also all the presentation is a feast to my eyes, the colors, everything, and it's always fun and beautiful to see the process behind creating a product. So thank you for that. And I see the potential of creating a jewelry tray for your marbling product. So it'd be, you know, to add more value to it, because it's from the it comes from the dust, right? So we can add value to it. And then even the bamboo shaving that you create for the packaging could be used as a jewelry packaging. So yeah, we can look at this creation and this product into really high-end packaging and product. Great job, girls. It's great.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Sam?
Yeah, I think I had my tears last time I saw it. Just so unbelievably beautiful. Absolutely loved the experimentation alongside the absolutely fantastic product design that just seemed to match the experimentation perfectly. I think the one thing that came through in this that I hadn't noticed last time that is also just off the chart beautiful was the kind of social aspect of it, that you know, you talked about, you know, breathing in the dust. It isn't just that it's a waste material that you've utilized. There's actually a kind of a social element to that too, and a very authentic one too, because a lot of the time with sort of sustainable solutions, people are, you know, not people, but you know, people kind of, yeah, I've just said people again, you know, kind of make up the, you know, why it's sustainable. They really just want to use the material, but there isn't a real reason for it. And that the authentic use of the dust to stop people breathing it in was an extra aspect to the project that, like I was saying, I didn't notice before. And that just was, you know, the absolute icing on the cake. Really, just so wonderful. That's 3 things that are wonderful about, well, there's more than that, but The experimentation was wonderful. The product that matched the experimentation and this genuine, authentic, sustainable story to it. Just thought that was fantastic, really fantastic.
Okay, thank you, Sam and Nancy. Okay, everyone, the presentation are done and the projects are wonderful. And we really hope that all projects will go further development ahead. And since we still have more minutes, I think we'll be here and open for everyone to ask or discuss directly with the participants for further collaboration or other possibilities maybe. But before that, let's take a picture together. Okay, so you may turn on your camera. Okay, Linda, would you lead the countdown? Okay, I think everyone is turned on the camera already. Okay, Linda, where are you? Okay. Okay.
I could screenshot, but I couldn't open the camera because it's in a weird position. Sorry.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Okay, could you please the countdown?
All right. Okay, I'll count down now. So 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, one more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're so glad to be here. And like I said before, we still have more time to have a further discussion with the participants. So if you have a further questions, you may ask directly to the participants. You may raise your hand or you can chat directly to them and hope we can do some further collaboration in the future. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck. See you soon.
Okay, thank you.